Alright, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the broadcast here, the Dota 2 Professional League, or the DPL, coming at you, some Chinese Dota. Looking forward to having a lot of fun here today. With that said, I'm Breaky CPK, joined by my co-caster today, PQMZ, and we got a matchup to kick it off here. Best of 2 action, of course, as it is throughout all these group stages that started a little bit ago here. Moving on throughout the rest of the week, into next week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, we should definitely have some more good Dota coming at you. We got iG.Vitality going up against LGD.Forever Young, also known as LFY, of course, here in this 2-game series. So excited to be here today, and at least us as a casting duo, we're going to be joining you for the first 2 series, best of 2. There will be a couple more after that, but a different casting duo will be stepping in. But again, looking forward to getting a fun one kicked off here, and we got a fun start to this one. But PQMZ, I want to go to you first. How's it going, man?
It's going really good, actually. It's nice to be back and do some casting.
Yeah, no, happy to have you here. You know, this is kind of last minute, I think, for both of us here. I wasn't even sure that I was going to be casting some Chinese Dota, but I was told a bit. I was asked if I was interested. I was like, you know what? I want to watch some Chinese Dota. It's known for being quite the chaotic scene at times and quite the fun scene to watch. And I mean, we're getting that here right off the bat. We got a Monkey King on the side of LFY. We're going to see the Monkey King. I've only seen it once so far, and it was fun to watch. I'm excited to see it here, though.
I have a feeling a lot of teams just want to experiment with this hero. Ever since it got brought into Captain's mode, it's been a menace in pubs, and now we get to see the potential in like real situations. I've seen it in a few games, and I'm not so sold on it, but they know better than me. That's for sure. The rest of the draft looks super standard, though.
Yeah, to an extent here. I mean, yes and no. I mean, for me, seeing an LC second pick, it's not the most typical thing. But like I said, you know, I have watched a little bit of Chinese Dota myself recently, and I actually casted some, a couple nights ago. I was casting some in the Manila Masters there. These teams, they seem to do some odd stuff at times. Their drafts will be somewhat unique from game to game, and especially with 7.03 obviously just coming out recently right here. They're willing to try some different things. Yeah, and Monkey King included, but then the response of the Bat Rider early on from iG.Vitality. Now, I know In July is known for playing a Bat Rider throughout history, so a little more sense there, but then you got the Juggernaut Earth Spirit, yeah, a little more standard stuff. So I guess that's looking a little there, but I mean, Monkey King into an LC, that's kind of a funky start for me, man.
The reason they go LC, I'm presuming, is to counter the Bat. It's also a good hero at pressuring the safe lane with Monkey King. Gives them an option to do this dual lane in the off lane. It could also go mid, but I think the off lane's more likely. But that's the main reason they pick it, and it's the only reason I say it's like kind of standard.
Okay.
But Monkey is interesting. I'm not sure it's worth the first pick, but everything else is like I can get behind what IG pick.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 3 very, very strong heroes that you'll want in nearly any situation in this metagame. They give you a lot of flexibility, super strong lanes, good team fighting, good snowball potential. You can't really knock the lineup at all. And the last 2 picks can mold it in several different ways, so they're still quite versatile.
So I'm looking at potential pickups here with Dota Buff, actually, but okay, AA coming out. Now that's one that was not going to be on the list of heroes that I would have perhaps guessed here for LFY, so Ancient Apparition, though, and interesting pick, because usually I feel like when AA is picked up, isn't it usually more of a response to maybe the anti-heal effect? But, I mean, I guess they have Healing Ward, but now they have Shadow Ward on top of that. But why would they go the AA here, you think?
I think it signals that they want to play a lot more aggressive. AA is not a hero, I think, that thrives on many other styles of game. Like, LC now has a lot of kill potential globally because of this hero. It stops IG doing too much of a group up strategy that gets countered by the blast. I mean, I'm not sold on the pick again, but it's very aggressive. Like, Monkey King AA are 2 very high damage supports. The Veno is probably their safe lane hero that can somewhat hold its own against a Bat Rider.
5 seconds remaining.
Or it could be their mid lane, and you never know. They're actually quite flexible. Whenever I say shit like this, it's always like, no, there is actually more options.
Well, PQFZ, I just love how almost like calm you are. They're like, oh yeah, we see the Venomancer here. Like, we see a Venomancer, man. I mean, that in itself.
It's actually somewhat common this patch, though, isn't
Is
it?
it?
It's not as left. I don't know. I've mostly been watching pubs recently. My competitive game pool is pretty slim for the past month or two outside of the majors. But Veno's been one of those heroes I've seen in pubs that creates a lot of problems for teams because he peaks pretty early. He's annoying as hell to lane against, and he gives you kind of what this lineup wants. Somewhat independent laner that lets the supports move around the map so AA can pull, do some ganking, maybe even aggro tri-lane,
10 seconds
and put the LC
remaining.
against Batrider. You know, there's a lot of options, but it's purely aggressive. I think if they
5
lose their
seconds
lanes, they're in a
remaining.
lot of trouble.
Yeah, real quick on the Venomancer too, before we develop into the draft even further here. It was actually picked up recently by the sister team to LFY here, LGD. LGD maybe actually ended up playing it. That was actually for the Manila Masters a couple of days ago. I remember being linked the game because it was just insane with the stat line. He went 12, 2, and 15 with the Venomancer. He ended up getting items such as a Daedalus, a Mjolnir, a Satanic. I mean, he went just all that
real
right
Venom
click.
build. Now,
Radiant
see, that is
team
something I think is actually really viable, but I wouldn't have said anything if you hadn't said that.
Okay.
And normally when you see Veno, it's like either you go Mech, Greaves,
10
Ags,
seconds
Veil.
remaining.
Occasionally you'll see like Midas, BOTs, the more
5
greedy route.
seconds remaining.
But the hero is actually fairly good with the farm he can get, and then he can
Reserve
scale.
time.
I used to do it in many years ago, but yeah, I suppose the game's different now.
Well, it's come full circle at least. It feels like perhaps, and again, that was the one game there that I had that on reference here. We're going to now see it for ourselves with LFY. Slark is the final pick. So actually, it's going to be a short lane Slark here with Veno mid. Maybe is that what we should see here? Huh.
I could also see it being Slark mid, Veno up top with an aggro lane and Legion bottom, but yeah, their lanes are pretty flexible. Whereas I think iG.V, their lanes are a lot more set. The only thing that's really in contention is the mid laner could be the Battle of the Jug.
Okay. God, I'm just loving this. I really want to cast more Chinese Dota already. I mean, just seeing this lineup right here, and like I said, I got the chance a couple of nights ago too. If it wasn't for the damn time zone being so different, I would really be watching so much more because it's just we're jumping into this game here, and we got already just a pretty chaotic draft. No doubt. So, but yeah, it started with the Monkey King. Now, when we have seen the Monkey King, again, the couple of times I've happened to see it, and just when it's in other games too, I believe it's usually ran as that 4 position, more the roaming. You get kind of like a mobile ward almost early on in the game, and just constant pressure in the lane. So this is a team overall that's going to be a very mobile team and ready to move around the map and set up kills left and right. So iG.Vitality definitely has their work cut out for them, it feels like.
You could say the same about iG.V though. They've got three pretty mobile heroes, so I think aggression is going to be the name of the game for LGD, and then IG is looking to counteract as much as possible, predict where it's going to come, deal with it. And if they do that, I think their lineup is a lot more solid. They have a lot more ways to win the game, whereas having an LC, AA, it feels very all-in.
Mm-hmm.
With the last pick Slark, it's a very good game for Slark, so if he does have like a complete free farm, he can carry his team if things do go badly, but that's less easy to do in a competitive setting than it is some 7-8K pub game. There's a lot more coordination.
Yeah, a little different here. It's safe to say these guys are pretty coordinated. And again, these two teams are actually sitting right now in the middle of the group. I believe, God, how many teams in total are in this event here? It looks like there's, that's 12 teams, I want to say. The top 6 actually advance onto the playoff stage. These guys right now are kind of in that 4th, 5th place spot even. So definitely some of the upper teams now. There's still several matches to be played, so obviously not to give too much away yet. But these are teams that you would no doubt be surprised to see Not surprised that is to see make those playoffs. Of course, iG.Vitality I wanted to bring up too. They're coming off fresh qualifying for the Kiev Major out of the Chinese region. So obviously a very, very good team themselves in LFI with plenty of history. So, but yeah, in July going to be on a signature Bat Rider in that off lane. Paparazzi on the Weaver setting up in the middle lane here actually. And of course going to be the short lane Sakata playing that Juggernaut with the new Arcana skin. Oh boy.
Do you like this skin?
I mean, I do. I have to say, I know that the community has been somewhat negative on it, but I mean, I think it's cool. The effects on it seem pretty rad. I mean, I'm somewhat newer to Dota 2 though, so I guess I don't know. What about you?
Well, we both come from Hon, so cosmetics like this in Hon were a lot more common. They changed the way the hero looked a lot.
Yeah.
Dota players seem to frown on that a lot more due to like the new player experience and stuff, but I think the community's just looking for shit to talk shit about personally.
Perhaps.
And they forced Valve to make it, so...
That's true. There's a lot of outcry about it, that's for sure. Look at the bottom lane, by the way. Monkey King, he's sitting on the one lonely tree right here. That still remains in this area. Oh, he's going to be taken down, though. It's almost less as they baited it, but... he'll be fine. That's definitely a benefit of a Bat Rider, though. It's making more obvious reason as to why they win him. Clearing those trees.
It's a huge counter to this hero. It lets you play a lot more aggressively in situations where the hero would normally provide you so much vision. And they're doing a fairly good job of like trying to shore up their slack in the safe lane. Normally you'd see Monkey start even mid or the off lane and try and pressure. But I think they realize that their Slack needs some kind of help in the early game, and AA is not a hero that provides enough zoning potential against two heroes. He could do it if it's just Bat Rider, but having the Earth Spirit down here pretty much means that the Monkey has to be here.
Yeah, he did get
the
that.
The other two lanes are going to be fine.
I was going to say, AA getting that chilling touch with this first level there as well. So, I mean, they have kill potential perhaps, but it's just not it's not going to be easy. They're keeping their distance and really open up this farm, though, for Slark. Mentioned both the supports needing to kind of be down here, but Monkey still flying around checking out that shrine area. Going to see where Dogfights is headed. On our Spirit, there's that 2-minute bounty rune pickup. Middle lane, though, again, Weaver versus a Venomancer. Seems like Venomancer's taking a lot of harassment here from the Weaver. Is this it's not a typical matchup? Is there an advantage you give either way, though?
I'd say Weaver probably wins the first 4 or 5 minutes of this matchup purely in a one-on-one, and depending if the Veno goes for the 3-4 points in ward, then it gets a lot easier for him to move between the lane and the jungle. But I think IG just did this purely as a reaction because Jug mid is not as good against things like Veno, and Bat Rider doesn't have kill potential as easily because of the slows. Whereas Weaver can sit here and just, as long as he gets his regen out, he'll free farm, be the super strong second core they need him to be. And he's also very hard for Monkey King to gank. Even with Dust, you don't have a stun that's long enough to lock down the Sakuchi.
Yeah.
So you can just sit in this lane, and even has a lot of kill potential with Earth Spirit. Once Weaver gets level 4, you can dive the tower with the bug super easily. And they're setting for that up now, pretty much. He's going to get level 4 off the next wave, or they can just go.
Oh, ooh. Barrel roll in right there. Gonna whiff, but super. Enough time to react right there and go back. In fact, he's going in on a Paparazzi. He's not afraid to play pretty aggressive and apply those auto attacks. Of course, that Poison Sting kicking in as well, so getting the nice dot up there. He has the Ring of Aquila early on, and the boots set queued up even to be purchased right here. So I've noticed this Monkey King, though. He's been lacking as far as levels go. He just hit level 2 in the meantime. As I say that, he's doing a pole camp right here, but of course, this is the downside of doing a defensive trial, and the supports are kind of sharing experience with one another, and thus don't expect him to be amping and farm by any means. But how has this top lane been doing, by the way? LC's been going 1v2 against a Juggernaut and Warlock, and look at the pressure he's applying, man. LC's having a great farm.
To this hero.
Dire's top tower
As long as he has a TV scroll, there's no way IG kills this hero, so he can play as ballsy as he likes, and you can see that in the CS chart. He has more CS than his now equal to his mid laner, which is just getting solo kills as well. So
yeah,
The full dot build pays off really heavily.
Fortunately, missing that right there as we're talking about the top lane, but it just it seems like that dot just really added up on a Weaver, and obviously couldn't handle it in the end. So that's a good start for LFY, and it goes right back onto it. Paparazzi has a bottle, but of course, bottle in itself not the easiest to be using here when you have that dot constantly ticking on you.
I mean, that's half his health just from one auto attack in the spell. I don't think he... this is a very easy statement to make, but I don't think you play against Venom mid often enough to know the threshold of the hero.
Yeah.
So if he makes 1 or 2 misplays and dies, then I'm not going to put too much weight on it because it's an unusual matchup.
That's a very good point. Yeah, no, it's one of those cases, being a new hero on the scene, exactly. You're kind of not really experienced playing against it, so maybe misjudging in terms of the damage he can actually put out, and thus that first blood kicking in. Now Venomancer almost level 6, so we'll see if he gets that Poison Nova at level 6. I mean, I would assume so. It's just such a strong tool, and even for solo kills, bring high potential right here. But Super, it's safe to say he's off to a great start. The Power Tread's now next in line. And again, very curious, though, to see what kind of item build we see on this Venomancer here. So be keeping a close eye.
Veil.
The Veil
just
here.
because it has a lot of synergy with his team.
Oh, Monkey King jungle. You see Venomancer going to help, though. Monkey King going to survive for now. Barrel roll coming out. Dogfights wants this chase. He's going to jump into the trees, though. And he'll be... Oh, he got purged out. The neutral creep's actually taking him out as a result. A little bit of awkward interaction right there. So I guess he does fall, but technically to the neutrals, however. So maybe not the worst case scenario.
Dangerous. They do a lot of damage.
LC's fine at the top lane, meanwhile, but yeah, I mean, again, that's if you're going to be dying right there, obviously that's a good case for Monkey King not giving it up to the other side.
But like, so much better in their lanes. If you look at the CS, they're all a good 10% up, if not more. And the amount of pressure that this LC's putting, like the Weaver rotates top, gets nothing out of it, and he's not laning mid anymore because he knows one Gale and he's like half health. So he's resorted to jungling just to get his level 6, and then he probably go back to the lane. But right now, he's not being super efficient at all. And LFY are winning their lanes, despite their support basically having 0 impact.
Yeah.
All their like destroying right now.
Which, I don't know about you, but it seems almost odd to me that they really haven't put pressure on this Venomancer. Obviously Dogfights here on Earth Spirit, a very hefty roaming hero early on in the game. Is that something that they maybe missed out on, sending the Earth Spirit middle to babysit the Weaver here?
I think they were right with him starting bottom because they needed the Batrider to not get zoned out by the free heroes. But the one time I called it when he tried to go mid, I think they jumped the gun a tiny bit. And now top lane, this Jug's getting dueled and they don't get the damage, but it's good enough.
That upheaval, though, setting up a return kill, or trying to not set a return kill, but I heard that noise going out, got that lag kicking in right there, but in the end, obviously, they get the kill on the Juggernaut, and they're going to be finding themselves upheaval, slowing them down, but no one to chase after them and secure any turn. So, obviously, good assistance, though, from Monkey King, and that's his potential roaming early on in the game, and hoping to set up right there. No doubt an important kill. So he was the only one so far kind of doing decent for iG.Vitality. I mean, I guess in July and Batrider's doing decent now, too, but Cicada going down there, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, that is not what you want your safe lane Jug to be dying to. And I don't think you want your Warlock to have a point in upheaval either. He might regret that. Considering he can't really do much in this lane, you'd expect him to at least have some levels from pulling or something. And levels are pretty sparse for him at the moment.
Oh no, Warlock, he's on the run. In comes the chase with Monkey King using that balanced strike right there. But the Omni Slash encounter, and they overstep their boundaries big time, including Dogfights. He's porting in the Boulder Smash. Oh, that's the wrong direction. He was definitely hoping to push him back into his teammates right there. But in the end, they get the 1 kill at least, so overall satisfied with that. Ulti activated by Venomancer, meanwhile, in the middle lane, but Paparazzi avoided it. So Venomancer, a complete whiff with that Poison Nova. Now he's on the run. He does have that magic stick, which he used right there to get a little bit of life and some mana pool back, but Paparazzi's going in for the kill. Now AA's coming in over. Not much he can do right now. Puts down that Ice Vortex right there. Does have the Cold Feet if necessary. But Venomancer will survive as Weaver needs to slip on out of here, actually limping away himself here.
He's playing with fire. He also would have died if the Venom connected with his spells because he's forced out the time lapse earlier and then he goes for a semi-blind attempt. Can't really blame him.
Bottom lane Slark, he's forced to pop his Shadow Dance actually as Batrider jumps onto him, so not too shabby when a solo Batrider is able to force out such a defensive cooldown on a hero like
You can
Slark.
look at it the other way though. Like, he used Lasso for that and doesn't get a kill, which frees up the other cores on LFY to play slightly more aggressive because they don't have to worry about that cooldown for 60-70 seconds.
True.
And Slark is farming meanwhile. And he's now at a point where he's level 7, the bottom lane is not as contested anymore, so AA can start reaping the rewards, getting some levels, buy the tomb, get his level 6, and it makes their lineup have this early peak. Because this Venom hero is not really easy to contest, he does way too much damage right now. You pair that with an AA and Monkey King giving you all the vision, so they force to play safe. See how aggressive this Elsie is being able to play. He's already 1,000 away from his blink.
Yeah.
And you might say that's not too farmed if like you consider phase boots, PMS, treads, wand, Blightstone, wand. You know, he's top of the net worth. This was your solo offlaner.
Yeah, no, he's looking really good. Middle lane super not looking so good though. Out comes a Chaotic Offering. They want to get Monkey King as well. They can't catch him though. But so the Chaotic Offering a little awkward right there. They had actually already gotten the Venomancer kill. But they can use it to push, however, which is definitely a benefit. Dogfights himself, he is going to be healed up somewhat by that Shadow Word. Weaver making his way back over here to the middle lane, and they want to push this, but Venomancer's up in 8 seconds. The tower currently at full life. They got to be careful about that. Monet on that Slark, he kind of pokes in, but he drops to half life immediately, so that upheaval also helping to keep slow him down. He does have a Shadow Dance, worst case scenario, going to kill off the creep wave and try to prevent this from easily happening. Venomancer, he's waiting to TP in. He has it ready to go, just waiting for the call. There we go. He's going to start TPing in. Has a Poison Nova, Balance Strike. The Warlock Golem almost dying. Going to stay alive, though. In comes a Q from Venomancer, but that'll be the Q for Weaver to fall on back. And that's the end of it. So, they kill Venomancer despite not getting the tower kill.
Yeah, they really wanted the tower with that rotation, though. It was a nice idea from them to, like, yes, Varrock didn't look like it did much, but the objective was to push the tower. The kill was icing on the cake. Well, it kind of enables it, but you get the point. So, pretty big hold from LFY. And the Lasso bottom also gets wasted on the AA. He manages to live with some TP rotations.
Jeez.
So nothing's going right for IG right now. The one kill on Veno is not setting them up to accomplish anything. It sets the Veno back a tiny bit, but it's not what they want to be doing with their kind of early game. They want to be getting a tower with that rock every time. And if they get a Monkey King here, it's nice, I suppose, but I'm not even sure they will before he gets some help.
They're chasing, and here goes a Poison Nova, though, from Venomancer. In fact, yeah, he uses that Venomous Goo or Gale. There we go. Anyways, Ice Blast coming out. Going to catch Weaver, actually. He uses Time Lapse already. The auto attack's coming in. And you look back at the fountain, yeah, he is dead. That's the power of Venomancer right there. Those dots still doing so much damage, despite getting ported back and obviously unable to heal on up effectively. So that's a turn kill that definitely benefits LFY, so the struggle is definitely continuing for iG.Vitality. I mean, the one shining star is Juggernaut, who's, how about this? He's going first item Diffusal Blade. He's going right into it, man.
Can't say I've seen that. Maybe he's going Yasha and he just bought the Alacrity from Diffusal, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But he is dead, so he ain't buying shit right now.
Just as we're praising the shining star for iG.Vitality and you know, some hope there, he ends up getting killed and killed.
Curse them. They need all the help they can get, man. The game is not going so well.
No. But yeah, you know, actually that kind of brings up another thing, and I like talking about this with my co-casters here, is Juggernaut, for the longest time, this in 7.0 plus, is bottom lane. We have another fight to be initiated in July. Using that Flame Break, the Chaotic Offering coming out, actually. They are going to get the pick on Batrider. Fatal Bonzo doing some nice spread damage. Monkey King's one that's definitely pretty vulnerable right here, as Weaver's in pursuit, has a Swarm. Not going to be using it just yet, though. Monkey King can start leaping away throughout the trees, from tree to tree. The Balance Strike in, and the Primal Spring even. And he will actually survive. So, wow, I thought for sure they were at least going to get one turn kill there with the Chaotic Offering use. And they don't get any.
Yeah, that's like, now they have to get this tower while they're all healing up. Otherwise, that's 2 rocks down for nothing. And I'm not sure that they can get this. LFY is setting up. They have all the tools minus Venom-Ults.
Radiant's bottom
AA.
They're
tower
opting
is
to
under
play it
attack.
safe, can't really blame them.
Dire's top
Like,
tower
everyone's
is
here,
under
the Slack's just sitting top, putting the farm.
Radiant's bottom tower
LPC tried to make a fun play with the Ice Blast and poured out, but Dogfights had already scouted them out, so
is under attack.
that's a free kill for them. So again, they at least get a hero kill with the tower kill, so they make a little bit of use of the Chaotic Offering. Not the most ideal, but at least they push a tower with it. But yeah, so going back to the point that I wanted to bring up earlier before that fight broke out, Juggernaut, one of the best candidates for going this Helm of the Dominator, but the latest patch, it took yet another nerf. Are you surprised that Helm of the Dominator is starting to maybe drop off a bit as far as a core item?
Well, when it came out, it was the most broken thing in several patches, item-wise. Now it's... I just don't think it's good enough anymore. The stat nerf is a bit too heavy. I'd much rather see the creep take the hit and have the
Radiant's
stats
bottom
still
tower
stay
is
on the
under
item.
attack.
But I can definitely understand teams not wanting to buy it on cores anymore. I think it's leaning much more towards like a utility support pickup.
Yeah.
Which if that's the way iSrug wants it to be, then I think that's perfectly fine. Because as a core, running around with a free Alpha Wolf or just being able to get solo kills with Purge Creep was completely insane when it first came out.
It's a strong item. I mean, it was a very, very strong item. I still think it's definitely, it has potential to be really strong. It's actually top lane. Ice Blast coming out. Beautiful synergy right here. Not enough for the kill, though. Despite that, it is enough. Okay, so Juggernaut will go down. Not enough initially, I should say, but they do get the kill, and that's what matters. So the chase is on, though. Paparazzi coming on in. Applies the bug to LC. Dodges the barrel, and he pops the press to attack, but it's not going to be enough. And he will fall in return. So a 1-for-1, but again, they take out Juggernaut at least, continuing to kind of keep him in check and slow him down. You look at the net worth, I mean, the top 4 farmers, it's Juggernaut, and then you got Slark, Veno, and LC from the other side. So an exchange that LFY would gladly take, as they're going to fall back from mid here.
I think it actually favors IG like slightly because the Jug bought his gold, bought his item before he died, and the kill on the LC was really important for them, and this kill kind of chains off of that because when LFY used those 2 heroes top and saw IG rotate their entire team, they wanted to use for space and like push the tower, but then they split up. And IG read the map pretty well and got another kill off it. So this is the first sequence of events for them that's actually going decently.
Oh, don't speak too soon, though. Well, maybe not. Looks like they're about to jump in right there. Not going to happen, though. Warlock, he has his Chaotic Offering ready to go, by the way. So, yeah, if you're LFY, you got to pick and choose your fights very carefully right here. Slarky's up in about 10 seconds. Monkey King, he's almost dying. A couple of auto attacks and the swarm being applied right here. He is going to get picked off as Dogfights will help finish the job. The Flame Break hit Venomancer. Venomancer's in trouble. He's going to go down the Omni Slash, cutting him down in. Just like that, iG.Vitality now, they're the ones that take momentum of this game. And this is also going to be a middle tower kill, most likely, to top it all off, as somebody's got to get the last hit, man. There we go. Sakata will take it. So, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of a swing now. iG.Vitality, all of a sudden, they're moving here.
And this is kind of a bit more how I'd expect the flow of the game to feel. Their cores are just getting to the point where they're feeling strong enough. And then you've got the rock to back them up, so LFY don't feel like they can fight into them when they group up. So now I think the game's going to come down to how well they split the map. Because as you see, IG, they're moving as 4 heroes right now. They want to get use out of Lasso and the rock. And they have enough damage, I think, to kill.
Yeah, they should. Yes, they do. He cannot get the Shadow Dance off in time. Here comes a counter Ice Blast. It only hits Dogfights in the background, but there's that Chaotic Offering. Press attack, apply to LC. Out comes the FPS lag because it's Monkey King time with the ultimate activated. They get a couple of kills as Bat Rider and the Earth Spirit will fall, but Paparazzi still going around with that Shakuchi. He picks up a double kill as Slark and LC dead, as well as that Monkey King, of course. It's going to be a 4th kill on AA. He goes down, and there's the finish on a Venomancer. A complete cleanup right there in favor of iG.Vitality, even with the Poison Nova coming out. Not enough return on the side of LFY.
I wish I could analyze that, but my screen froze for like 8 seconds.
It did, didn't it?
But the Warlock going for the upheaval build, I criticized the point earlier because most of the time you just see people max bonds and stuff, but it paid huge dividends
Radiant's
there.
bottom tower
Like,
has
they committed
fallen.
to the fight with Nova, thinking, okay, we see the Jug pushing bottom. They just used most of their spells to kill our Slark. We might as well try and get something in return. But the fight just lasted so long with them being slowed. It gave the Jug time to come in, and now the game's like completely turned. And this is the point where LFY don't really have heroes to deal with what IG want to do now. They needed to keep the lanes either more split and not fight them like they did there, which is kind of not what Venno wants to do, so I feel really bad for him. Like, he wants to hit heroes. Slark, he wants to hit creeps, and LC wants to find pickoffs. But IG aren't going to let them do that if they continue grouping up. The way they're playing should pretty much give them the cue. It's working, keep doing it, keep using us better timing, and if they can get kills like this, when they do split them up, it's going to make LFY so scared. And they're going to have to play the 5-man game, which they lose at.
Yeah, Venno dead for another 45 seconds right there as they're kind of chasing his LFY, but with Venno being dead, I don't know if they really want to be taking a fight right now. You know, kind of going back to that point you were just making right there with, you know, how LC wants to look for hero kills, you got Venno maybe wants to put objectives, you got Slark wants to just farm. That seems a little scattered with the strategy. Is that maybe a hindsight looking at this draft and being like, well, maybe it's not the best synergy here?
Oh, as I said when they drafted it, I think they need to be ahead, and they need to be dictating the pace of the game through Slark and LC pushing in lanes and then finding pickoffs. But when IG have 5 heroes, I don't think they can do too much.
Yeah.
Like, if Batrider overextends like he does here and they get a nice kill, then it makes it look a lot easier. But every time IG's taken any kind of like 3-on-3 or more engagement where it's been in somewhat equal terms, they're going to win. And now their cores are a lot bigger.
Well, now you got the Lincoln Sphere on Weaver. You have Juggernaut with the Yasha and the Manta Style, of course, in the works as well. So he just kind of went this combo different. And usually you would go the Manta Style first into the Diffusal Blade, but obviously, again, making a high priority to get that Diffusal Blade ASAP. So he has that now. As the initiation coming out from iG.V right here. The Omni Slash tears up AA. And he's dead in a couple of seconds. Sakata, he's going to start spinning away. Slark, he's nearby with that Shadow Blade active, but can't really find an opportunity. And, oh, it'll be just the one kill onto the AA. And they'll kind of reset here and look to push in the top lane still.
That's just so hard to see the Lincolns on juggling spins.
It is, yeah.
That's actually so annoying.
It's a powerful cosmetic there.
Yeah, no, that is legit pay to win. If you have a Lincoln's for someone else to put on you. Obviously, it's a very small thing when you think about it, but cosmetics shouldn't make the game harder for you in any way, shape, or form. So now I agree with the hate. You know, I'm all for that. But
oh boy, you turned quickly.
no, the second there's any game thing, it changes.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
If I'm a support and I want to lasso that or something, it's like I couldn't see because he's just all blue and shit.
I mean, I agree, yeah. Cosmetics should never ideally change, you know, information like that or make it extra difficult. But in the middle lane, Super, he's going to be jumped on. He got off his Poison Nova, but it's not going to matter again. The up heave also helping to slow down Slark in the back, and you just see how slow he's moving. Dogfight's back here. He is trying to stay alive. Out comes a Akata offering though. The last one, meanwhile, onto AA. Maybe not the most prime target, but Super, he's going to help auto-attack him down as now Paparazzi's in pursuit. So far, a 2-for-1 in this fight. In the background, you have Slark looking to go back in. He wants to catch in July. He will catch in July, but at what cost now for him? He's going to have to pop that Shadow Dance. He's going in onto Sakata, now changing to Super. Here comes the FPS drop with the Wukong's command. Frame after frame, what's going to happen? Well, apparently it's going to be a reset in the fight. And we will stay at the 2-for-2 exchange to finish it off. So, kind of back and forth. Yeah. They lost Venno, but
he did his job at the start of the fight, though. Like, he tanked the initial volley of spells, made them group up. He got 3 heroes in his Nova, and I think they also got 3 in the AL because of that. The problem they're having is they just can't continue the fight. There's no one there that locks people in place or gives you the chase to be able to take advantage of that. iG.V just went in, they got their initial kill, after they lost their spirit to the dots. Everyone else just got to run away, regroup with Healing Ward, and if the Batrider wasn't trying to bait the Slark so much, he probably lives as well, and then the engagement looks slightly more favorable for them. But in the end, LFY will be happy with that. I think them winning any kind of engagement is good. Then it forces the map to be slightly more open.
Ooh, they're looking for a jump, and now they're going to go past these wards, of course, being the smoke ain't coming. Now you see a counter smoke from LFY, and here we go. It's round number 5 right here, we'll call it. LFY, yeah, that's not a good start for them. LC's picked off right off the bat, over to the side as well. Venomancer, no Poison Nova up in about 10 seconds. He's going to die, though, before he can do a damn thing. Batrider is dropping low. They got the pick up on a Warlock. But a 3-for-1 exchange now, this time for iG.Vitality. So they have the immediate pick on the LC. Again, Veno not having his ultimate ready either, not wanting to take the fight as a result. And the smoke gig ends up working out in favor of iG.Vitality. And this is going to be a nice transition into the Roshan pit. And a free Aegis for Juggernaut.
Yeah, it feels like they just read the game so much better right now. I think LFY wanted to do some kind of smoke where they had one hero pushing top and they smoke like this and kill whoever defends his tower, but IG just play better. You know, they read that that's a situation and they have this 5-man smoke going like this and they catch it well, and the game looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Now they have an Aegis. Jug is at a point where he's pretty much unkillable.
That's a strong statement there.
If he gets dueled with Blade Mail, yes, he's in some trouble, but now with the Aegis, that's the only way he can really die. If his team's in fight at all. Yes, if he walks into 5 heroes, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble, but if his team's backing him up, it's very hard for him to die. And now he can just play super aggressive. He's got a blink so he can initiate the fight. And that's just going to give, like, his 3 support heroes, including the Batrider in that, even though he's kind of farmed, but they have so much vision now because Swarm sticking on heroes, Jug blinking in, and then they can just hit their spells easier because they have more information.
Yeah.
Whereas LFY have like the complete opposite thing, where they don't really want to be dueling that target that's showing on the front lines anymore. It's really hard to duel the Weaver because you need. Actually, it's only really AA that can pop the Lincoln right now, and he's not a hero that wants to be close enough to do that in most situations.
Interesting possible setup right here. You have the Invis rune on LC. He's kind of scouting things out, but really just doing that, getting some information for the team before falling back. So not going to go for openings here. But yeah, a couple things I wanted to kind of refer to as you're making your point there is we got dogfights here in Earth Spirit. He actually ends up picking up full-on pipe now. So talk about a fantastic item to have on your team against the likes of a Venomancer alone. It's great to see that for the side of iG.Vitality. That's just going to make stuff even more difficult now for Veno to be useful in these fights. And then on top of that, I was also looking at Slark, and Slark's been he's frankly been disappointing this game for LFY, it feels like. You know, he's only 2-2-2 here out of 13 kills that have happened in total, but we're 27.5 minutes in. I mean, he does finish a BKB now to go with his Shadow Blade and the Echo Saber, but I don't know, what about you? Do you feel like Slark has kind of not necessarily been able to do too much here? Oh. Yeah.
I think the hero has done as much as any player could feasibly do in the situation his team's put him in. It's a good Slark game if he's ahead, but the second you're playing into this 5-man Dota, Slark's not really a hero you want on your team until you get past to the point where they can 5-man and you don't have farm. But this BKB is going to help them a lot now. It's going to allow them to hopefully find some kind of fight that's favorable. But if you go back to like the mid-fight where I said they couldn't lock any heroes down, I have a feeling Slark's just going to have trouble continuing the fight. He's going to pounce one hero, pop his BKB, and they're probably going to run away. So that's a really good way of popping the Aegis.
Wow, yeah, that was a very quick kill onto the Juggernaut right there. So, as you mentioned, Aegis popped. Really not the most cost there.
Expects that. It's still a tier 2, though.
Yeah, but they're going to have to fall back now as they're uncomfortable pushing any further without the Aegis. So much for being unkillable. Definitely killable right there. You were wrong, sir.
Well, the situation was like IG weren't willing to defend him at all there. And it's very easy when you're sieging towers to drop pretty low, so Everything's possible in Dota. You can always take any context made and make a situation where it's feasible.
That's true.
But it's really good for LFY that no Aegis is in play now, because you can see that they want to play aggressive right now. They actually feel that this Slack BKB is giving them enough strength to force a fight without the Aegis. I'm not so sure they are gonna like win the fight, but I think it very much depends on who engages how now. Because both teams have tools, whereas before it was mostly iG.V just having the overwhelming team fight. The BKB changed a lot of things.
And LPC here on the AA, he is a long road ahead to get that Ags, but he's working on it. Of course, he had the Hand of Midas for a little bit now, but only has about 1,000 gold saved up. None of the items for that Ags even purchased just yet, so 4,200 in total is that number we're looking at, and that's I'm referring to that because an Ags on Ancient Apparition, it basically just feels necessary to have, right? Like the hero, he's useful without it, but he really is amplified once he gets that item. So I'm gonna look out for that here.
Yeah, in game styles like this, AA is pretty much just magic debuff and an ult.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
If the game had been a bit more aggressive early, then the hero actually thrives in fighting early. But now he is pretty much an ult, and it doesn't feel so good. But a lot of people pick the hero for the ult and disregard the other spells anyway, so I think most players are comfortable doing it. I know for a fact when I played AA in the past, it was like, yeah, I picked this hero for the ult. If I'm any more use other than buying wards, it's great. Whereas Monkey King, you know, he's got a Basher now, so if his ult manages to pop that a few times, it can change a fight. You know, he's actually useful.
He's become useful all of a sudden. All right, we'll see if White here in a Monkey King. Yeah.
I'd like to see the hero do well.
Radiant's top tower.
I've casted him now a couple times actually since he's come out 7.03, and both of the games before this one he actually did very well. So this is the first one that I'm seeing that he is not doing too well. So kind of the other side of the spectrum for me, but it's understandable obviously. And again, he has that power. I think the biggest thing is that his early game wasn't necessarily that useful. He was kind of playing as part of a defensive tri-lane instead of being very roam-heavy early on in the game and maybe setting up kills in the other lanes, which is what I saw at least in the previous games with the hero, that what seems to kind of make him so powerful, at least in the earlier part. But
yeah, it's when they backed up for the Slack pick that their lineup kind of changed a lot in how it wanted to play. They either had to play this like really aggressive 4-piece and have Slack splitting the map and farming meanwhile, or as you saw, they opted to do play a lot more defensively and allow the hero to kind of be their only core. Instead of being 4 aggressive heroes around it, they're kind of like 3 defensive heroes in some respects, and then LC's looking to make some solo plays on the map, which will get a tiny bit easier once he picks up his halberd, due to the Lincolns on the Weaver. But even then, it's still not an easy target to duel. Reaction times generally favor people who have the Lincolns, and then you can just invis away if there's no detection.
yeah.
And then your LC's in the middle of a lane going, please don't kill me.
Yeah.
And he is pretty tanky.
At this level, you would expect that Weaver could still definitely react. But, I mean, even seeing the Heaven's Halberd, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I was going to bring that up earlier, but perhaps as alone an item to counter the Lincolns as you're getting at, more so than anything.
It's subtle diffusal. But I think Heaven's Halberd offers a lot more stats this game that you want.
Yeah.
Like both the cores are going to want an MKB against the hero at some point, I guess. Especially Slack Ghost Butterfly. However, it's just not at a point where you really go MKB. So you're going to get more value out of the strength and the evasion than you would a diffusal. Even though it's easier to pop Lincolns with diffusal.
Oh,
But since you can't remove silences and stuff anymore, it's not so good of a defensive item. It's purely offensive.
Yeah. This game has completely taken a turn, man. I mean, it was actually pretty good action throughout most of this game. Pre-30 minutes at least, but as we've gone past the 30-minute mark, now about 34 minutes into this game, it's been very, very slow. Both teams very hesitant. I assume another Roshan kill. Yeah, they're pinging it out even. He's going to be spawning any second here. So the next Roshan, it feels like that's probably what iG.Vitality, at least especially, is waiting for. And then going to be picking that up as he's going to respawn right here. And then look to siege after that. But want to get that first. It's not going to be easy, though. AA. Is he going to scout it out? No, he went elsewhere with the ultimate.
This is just typical Chinese Dota now. Neither team willing to make a mistake. They want to play extremely passive. You see the team on the back foot sitting on their side of the map, generally farming as 4-5 heroes, and the other team not willing to play aggressive without the Aegis.
Oh, wow. The catch actually over here on a Monkey King, or maybe vice versa, but Yulceptor throws himself in the air as now Dogfight's going to try to assist. Meanwhile, the pack right over here. Out comes a chaotic offering. Venomancer falls. GG's being called. Just like that, LC goes down, and DC's coming out. Well, that game just kind of ended all of a sudden. I mean, the fight just started, and then it's over. Just as we're sitting here talking about how things have all of a sudden really slowed down, we're going to wait for another Roshan, and Chaotic Offering comes out, kills a couple heroes, and GG well played. We're going to game 2.
Their lineup just didn't play well from behind. They needed to be on the front foot, and I think they realized that one more bad fight, especially when Aegis is taken after that, it's kind of over for them. So instead of playing the turtle game, just go next. Can't really blame them.
And that was an impressive victory from iG.Vitality. I mean, as far as the Venomancer, like I said, that their counterpart team in LGD running it as I believe they ran it as a mid as well, and obviously going much, much better that time around. And the early game actually was very good for Super. He definitely was winning the lane against Paparazzi in that middle matchup, but wasn't really able to make the most use of it ultimately throughout the game. And iG.Vitality just played better as a team. The Chaotic Offerings came into play, and thus the victory for iG.V. So again, these are best of 2s here, so basically being the group stages, they play 2 games no matter what. But iG.Vitality takes the first one at least, setting themselves up to possibly go 2-0, if not LFY trying to split the series at 1 apiece. So we're going to go on a break, though. Going to take a short break right here. I'm sure we're going to jump into game number 2 pretty quickly here for the DPL. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed that first game. That's just getting started here for the night. I believe there's 8 matches in total, actually, that are going to be covered here on twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit. So look forward to a lot of good matches to come. We're just getting started. We got game number 2, iG.Vitality versus LFY. Coming up next, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.